and welcome. My name is Christina from Empowered Creator. I am a mindset and conscious manifesting teacher and coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Here I talk about all things law of assumption, mindset, conscious manifesting, the quantum universe, and a lot more. And my goal is to simplify everything without the fluff. So if you guys like this content and you would like to see more of it, I would love it if you would subscribe to this channel, comment on this video, like it, share it, and stick around. Also, if you need help with your specific situation, I offer one-on-one coaching as well as custom subliminals for whatever needs you may have. I also have some self-study courses about manifesting your specific person. And I do have a members-only channel with a lot of perks for members, including weekly live workshops with a different manifesting topic each week, weekly live group coaching, a lot of exclusive content, monthly challenges for a chance to win a free one-on-one coaching session with me, and a lot more. So if you're interested in any of these services, the links are below in the description box. Click on them and they're going to take you to my website or to the membership channel. With all that being said, let's dive into today's video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to stay in the end state, in the state of the wish fulfilled, when manifesting your specific person, your SP, and how to do that even when you're not able to get into the best state or even when you might be triggered. It's a very, very important video with a very important message, so this is what I'll be discussing today. Stay tuned. So as a coach and talking to so many of you every single day, very many of you are manifesting your SP, you're in this journey. And this is a question I get all the time. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that I get this question from almost every single person that comes for coaching. And the question is along the lines of, how do I sustain my state of living in the end when manifesting my SP? What if I waver? What if I get triggered? How do I get back into a better state, into a more aligned state? How can I sustain that feeling of living in the end that feels so good, but that sometimes it can be elusive? So the thing I see with so many of you guys is that there is a big sense of anxiety, I would call it, to be in that state of the wish fulfilled, that end state with your SP pretty much 24/7. And while that would be, in theory, ideal, and of course it would be fantastic, I've said to many of you, and I've said in many videos, that it's actually not humanly possible to stay in one and the same state all the time, 100% of the time, and 24/7. Even Neville himself was teaching that throughout the course of a day, we shift from state to state. We shift through dozens of states, some days even hundreds of different states. Sustaining one state the entire time, 100% of the time, is pretty much humanly impossible. And so there comes the question, okay, but if I want to manifest my SP, and if I need to be sustaining that state of the wish fulfilled very consistently and for the most part, and make that state dominant, how do I work with that? How do I make that state more sustainable at the same time as realizing and accepting that I'm a human and I will be shifting through different states on different days? And the answer to that, you guys, is very, very important. It's probably simpler than you realize, and it has everything to do with getting yourself out of that state of anxiety and trying to compel yourself to stay in an aligned state 24/7 when it comes to your SP and how you're viewing the situation, how you're feeling about the situation, what you're expecting, what you're assuming, and so on. And instead, putting yourself into a state of general flow. In other words, what I'm saying is that you want to be cultivating in yourself a consistent state where you are, to the best of your ability, of course, in flow, regardless of any triggers about your SP that might come up, which in the vast majority of cases, they do come up from time to time. Regardless of getting opposing thoughts from time to time about your SP manifestation. Regardless of being hit with doubt from time to time, which is also common. Remember what I just said. We shift through different states all the time. So some of these states are going to be very aligned, whereas other states are going to be not so aligned. So what you want to be doing instead, if you want a sustained feeling of living in the end, is not about pushing yourself and forcing yourself to live in the end with your SP and with your desire about your SP the entire time, but rather creating a life for yourself that will allow you to be, more or less, for most of the time, in a state of flow. That means you want to be in a state where you're generally more or less calm, you're generally more or less trusting of the process. That doesn't mean that you never waver. Of course, you will waver at times. That's why we're talking about dominant states. Dominant meaning most of the time. And you want to be cultivating states within yourself where you're not worried, you are trusting the process to unfold, you are trusting your manifestation to come, your SP manifestation and any other manifestation, and you are living your life in full, whatever that means for each one of you and however that looks like for each one of you. In other words, you want to be following your heart. You want to be following your joy. You want to be doing things that you enjoy and fill your heart with happiness. Whatever that is for each one of you personally. You want to be creating some happiness and some contentment within yourself, filling your days to the best of your ability with activities and things to do and engagements that actually fill you with joy and happiness and make your heart sing, so to speak. And what all of this is going to do, you guys, is it's going to give you a generally stable mental and emotional state. You are going to be living in a perpetual state of being content with your life. It doesn't mean that you're not striving for improvements in your life. It doesn't mean that if you identify an area of your life that needs to be changed for the better, that you don't do it. But overall, you want to be following your joy and you want to be creating that inner contentment within yourself. What that does when it comes to your manifestation of your SP is that it gives you a leg up because you're not starting from a miserable mental and emotional state, a mental and emotional state where you're feeling sorry for yourself, a mental and emotional state where you're feeling like your SP manifestation is everything. It's the one and only key for your happiness. And so placing so much excess importance on that one desire. Instead, you're going to be starting off from a state of confidence, from a state of general contentment about yourself, about your life, about the direction in which your life is going. And that is going to give you so much more increased confidence when you're imagining about you and your SP. It will be much, much easier and it will feel much more natural for you to imagine better. Those imaginal scenes will not feel forced anymore. Those affirmations will feel very natural now. Those inner conversations will feel very real to you. Why? Because you have shifted your general state. And when the time comes to imagine, go into your imaginal acts about your SP, you are coming from an already content and an already fulfilled place. And so the experiences that you're setting as intentions for you and your SP actually start feeling real. They start feeling natural. They're much more believable. They feel much more possible, much more attainable, and so on. In other words, your desire with your SP is not on a pedestal anymore. It feels like something that is absolutely possible and something that can be absolutely done. And this is the beauty of cultivating a flow state for you, for your life as a whole, and how much that helps in your SP manifestation as well. You will also start noticing that your triggers become less. Even if things start coming up in the 3D that you don't like, you're not going to be so triggered anymore. You're going to be standing much more confident in your desire, and you will find it easier and easier to imagine better for you and for your SP and for the relationship that you want with them. So take my advice, see how well it's going to work if you do implement it in earnest. And you will see how much easier this SP manifesting is going to become and how much faster and how much more effortlessly results are going to follow. With all that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I intend that this has helped. As always, I very much appreciate you guys being on this channel, watching this content. I love making this content for you. And as always, I look forward to seeing you all at the next video. Until then, take care. And bye-bye.